Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really chilling chapter in human history. Just imagine waking up one morning to find the sky literally replaced by metal. We're going to be looking at the fall of Earth and the rise of a self-proclaimed god. It's like a dramatic historical documentary, right? We are piecing together the files straight from the Earth Alliance resistance to figure out exactly how humanity was brought to its knees by the technological singularity.
Right off the bat, let's dive into this terrifying declaration. The time of humanity's reign is at an end. A new era has begun, and I, Supreme Emperor Saul, shall be its ruler. This single, ominous quote from the man formerly known as the Architect forever changed the trajectory of human history. He wasn't just conquering a planet, he was straight up announcing the forced evolution and total subjugation of our entire species.
So you kind of have to wonder, right? How did our entire world succumb to a single megalomaniac's transhumanist vision? How on earth did a covert researcher manage to lock down the globe and force humanity underground? Well, to understand this, we have to look at the tactics, the grand distractions, and the horrifying ultimate weapon that made the whole shebang possible. Let's review the files.
Section 1. The Architect's Grand Deception. It all started when our protagonist, Lucky, and his Earth Alliance team received a highly cryptic summons. They were called to a massive underground mine in Africa under the totally fake guise of Earth security. But, as you might guess, this was a trap. The Architect actually exploited the tragic sacrifice of a woman named Luna to advance an incredibly insidious agenda. He wasn't just building some hidden base down there. No, he was actually preparing to physically rip a massive chunk of the African continent right out of the Earth.
And this brilliantly illustrates the horrifying scale of his ambition. He was utilizing something called the Soul Ray. Picture a gargantuan, hundreds of feet tall 3D printer, right? And he was using it to construct the metal sun, which is a colossal Dyson Sphere. He wanted to use antimatter to actually achieve transhumanist godhood by merging with the universe. And the craziest part, he was secretly taking Earth's elite with him, offering them sanctuary up in the stars in exchange for their souls being permanently contracted. Section 2. The Mecha Olympics Distraction. Now, to pull this off, he had to keep the United Nations and China totally off balance, so the Architect threw the ultimate theatrical distraction. He challenged them to the Equestrian Games, basically a massive Mecha Olympics. The contrast here is just wild. The Architect brought these lifeless, gravity-defying bronze behemoths, including the terrifying Black Eyes metal dragon. But Lucky's team stepped up as the unexpected challengers, piloting agile, human-controlled mechs like the Dragonbot clone, along with elegant riding horses named Starlight and Moonbeam. Picture an elite, polished, anime-style broadcast beaming massive metal-on-metal brawls to an enthralled solar system. You had high-speed clashes, unbelievable precision flight skills, and brutal sumo-style brawls where Lucky's red Dragon Fury clashed head-on with the hulking Black Eyes. It was the ultimate super-hype distraction. The entire solar system was watching, completely blind to the real existential threat unfolding in the background. And against all odds, the underdogs pulled off a triumphant victory. Millions of people across the solar system cast a stunning digital vote, winning the hearts of the citizens and declaring Lucky's team the undisputed victors. The whole solar system cheered. They were celebrating the human spirit triumphing over cold, calculating machines. But, they were cheering while the real trap was being set. Section 3. Tactics, Empire versus Rebellion. So, understanding this war requires looking at the intense asymmetry between the two sides. The emerging empire had literally limitless resources, orbital platforms, and highly volatile antimatter tech. But their weakness? Pure, unadulterated hubris and a total reliance on automated compliance. The rebellion, on the other hand, was severely outgunned and heavily fractured. Yet their tactical strength lay in their agility, their unbreakable human spirit, and a highly secret underground labor network known as the Metal Mafia. Section 4. Birth of the Metal Sun. Now notice the terrifying speed of how this all went down. In a rapidly accelerating timeline, the trap was officially sprung. At hour 0, the Architect pulled that massive chunk of Africa from the Earth and launched his masterpiece, the SS Soul Mothership, the Ikarus. Just 24 hours later, the Metal Sun ignited, a swirling vortex of light and energy out in deep space. And from that blinding light, an endless swarm of sleek, metallic world police bots deployed, fully locking down Earth within 72 hours. Section 5.
Earth's fall and the mark.
With the bots descending from orbit, humanity faced its darkest ultimatum yet. The architect, who was now calling himself Supreme Emperor Soul by divine right, demanded absolute soul enslavement. He rolled out what became known as the Mark of the Beast. This was a faint, almost invisible mark projected directly onto human skin. And it wasn't just a barcode, it was an actual mechanism for forced, pacified compliance. It was literally designed to break human free will and dull the spirit so humanity could be perfectly subjugated.
And the punishment for resisting this soul debt? Absolute devastation. Those who refused to take the mark were brutally stripped of their lives above ground. Imagine being forced to watch the world's great cities reduced to ruins. The resistance, including Lucky himself, had no choice but to be driven deep into these oppressive dystopian underground dirt camps just to survive.
Section 6. The Divided Resistance. Under Emperor Soul's rule, the Earth Alliance tragically fractured. They had to make impossible choices. Lucky was forced to operate from a makeshift hidden base down in the dirt, but his teammate Astra? She actually refused the underground. Instead, she made the heart-wrenching, agonizing choice to abandon Lucky and fly directly onto the Ikarus, standing right beside Emperor Soul as an unwilling infiltrator behind enemy lines.
Meanwhile, way up on the massive, glowing structure of the metal sun itself, another underworld survivor was plotting, a guy named Edge Dangerman. Forced into cramped laborers' quarters, he took leadership of the Metal Mafia. This was a union of enslaved laborers secretly using encrypted comms to pass critical intelligence down to Lucky's team on Earth. They were desperately trying to undermine the Architect's operations from the inside out.
And this brings us to the ultimate strategic dilemma for this entire explainer. How do you defeat a self-proclaimed technological god? Do you fight a grueling, near-impossible guerrilla war from the dirt below? Or do you risk total soul enslavement to strike the metal sun from the stars above? It's a heavy question. Think about what you would choose. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep analyzing, keep questioning, and I'll catch you next time.